Hi everybody, we're UW Korn Hydro, and we're all undergraduates from the University of Washington. We're super excited to share with you what we've worked on these last 3 days. We started fully from scratch, and this is what we got so far.
So our problems. We have kind of two main problems that we were addressing. The first was fossil fuel emissions. So throughout the day, obviously we know that energy varies a lot. In the night, usually people are using less energy. In the day, there's a lot more. And we can see in this graph the difference between the peak demand. The second graph shows the net demand, including renewable resources. And we can see in the graph below here that this is an example from California. The solar takes up a large part during the day, and during the night, some of it has to be covered by natural gas. So it'd be nice to kind of even out that curve and take away some of the natural gas emissions. And the second part, we also talked a little bit about education, and I think maybe Sean has more to say about that.
So our solution to this problem involves 3 main points that we built from scratch during this hackathon, and our main goal was to address like education and educating people on like what this system is and what that is PSH-Mini Hydro. So this is a pre-existing system that has been implemented around the world. 90% of hydroelectricity storage is implemented in this system, and it's 96% in the US, but a lot of people have never heard of it, as I heard in the science fair. And so our 3 main systems are first we built an actual model of like how the system works right here. And we built it from scratch with components. It actually works. It runs, it generates electricity, and it has measurements. And then to give people something to like play around with some more, we built a dashboard. That video that we put. It shows a dashboard. It gives you different tools that you can use to visualize what's actually happening in the system itself, so you can get a better understanding of how this kind of system works. And it also gives you some fun stuff to play around with, where you can actually manipulate stuff in the system. And then the third thing is we use, Carl talked about it a little bit, but the KISA data from California for the month of April, we concatenated that to a 24-hour window, and then we said, let's scale it down so 1 second is 1 hour. So in that video, there's a 24-second cycle that's going over and over and over, and it's calculating when to control the bottle, to turn on the pump, turn on the valve, turn on the pump, turn off the valve, to get the most energy efficient and carbon neutral version of the system.
All right, yeah, so as Sean has already said, we're purely an educational hackathon, so we, I guess my job is to sell you on how cool this technology is. So whether you've heard of it or not, whether you're in utilities or you're an engineer. So pump hydro storage typically have significantly more storage than battery systems do, and they have a significantly longer lifespan. Planning and permittation is the single main largest issue with like implementing it onto grid systems like worldwide, especially in Seattle. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that was a little fast.
This is really cool.
Thank you.
Who are you going to educate? Like, who's your audience for education?
So as we mentioned, like the #1 problem that we found from our research on this topic is getting permitting, because this system is very efficient. It's a great alternative to batteries. It's cheaper. It has a better potential to store energy. You don't have to build batteries, and so like petitioning the landowners to give you access to the land to build these systems is our basic customer. So we need to go to them and show them this model. Like all these things that we built, and basically convince them like this is a good idea. It's a win-win for everybody. You get money, we make good energy, everybody's happy. But then it's also just like in general, like going to schools, going to like everybody, just teaching everybody about the system, destigmatizing building things in the environment that like maybe you think, oh, we're destroying the environment by building these brand new structures, but the managed structures are good. They reduce carbon emissions. They're replacing coal plants, things like that.
Yeah, it's also like extremely important to have that discourse with the landowners, of course. Be able to like, especially with like indigenous communities, be able to have that discourse and have like the adequate knowledge to be able to like converse academically about the subject and what is actually happening to their land.
Is there a reason you didn't just build a model like on a website somewhere that you can show it? I love this.
I think it's way more interactive. Like it catches your attention, and like it shows you like what it actually looks like. Like people are kind of tired of looking at screens and being like, oh, it looks like that. You know, I could just pull the PNG off the internet and it would have kind of got the same effect as like a model on the internet. But this, you can see the water going through. You can see it going up, going down. You can hear like the valves changing when you're editing the system. Like it's much more interactive. It sticks with you. And because our goal is education, that's what we want.
Like, I will say that, I mean, most of us, I think, mostly work with software at school, but that, like, moment when we got everything lined up and the Bluetooth was firing and the pump actually started squirting water was like, that's awesome. And getting other people to have that feeling is kind of cool.
When you press the switch, and, yeah, water starts pumping up. That's kind of fun.
Did you guys think about selling the kits so that kind of joy can be spread around?
Not really. Like we're college students, we have low budgets, and some of these components, you know, aren't the best components. But like, hey, give us some seed money, we'll make a better model. Maybe we can optimize it and have like the right pump, the right valve, that they work together, they have the perfect ratio, blah blah blah.
Partner with Home Depot. Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
Yeah, it's hot glue around that valve, right?
These are just some layouts of our hardware setup, a lot of software on the right.
Yeah, I guess we thought it was also important to be able to learn how the system works entirely, to be able to discuss it, and be able to, I guess, educate, because you can't really educate people if you don't let them know yourself. Yeah.
What would be the physical dimensions of like a 500 kilowatt hour pumped hydro? I have a vague answer for you. We don't have the exact specification. Like it's going to be like 500 meters tall in the kilowatt hours. It depends on like how the dam is designed, or like the existing hydro is designed, because you know you have different elevations, different ways to pump it up. Like it's not going to go a straight line probably. Like it's going to take some sort of path. Yeah, I do. That's a number of like how.
Yeah, there's a lot of loss in our system due to various inefficiencies, but in an ideal system, something like roughly like 60, 70 times larger than our systems. Like we got like 10-liter buckets, so pretty large buckets if you if you can find those.
The industry standard is you get 80% of the power back.